Hello, my name is Kirsten Lutz and I'm a graduate student at Messiah College. For my subculture project, I focused on the commuter student population. To begin, we are going to look at who are commuter students. According to the National Clearinghouse for Commuter Programs, NCCP, and the Council for the Advancement of Standards in Higher Education, CAS, commuter students are defined as those who do not live in institution-owned housing on campus. In more recent years, the traditional distinction between residential students, those who live in institution-owned housing, and commuter students, those who do not, have been blurred. Due to the increased need for on-campus housing, colleges and universities have begun working with private developers to provide more on-campus or close-to-campus housing. Therefore, students who live in these off-campus institution-owned apartments are often confused with commuter students since they are in essence commuting to campus. George Koo, director of the National Institute for Learning Outcome Assessment, takes the definition one step further. In an analysis of data from the National Survey of Student Engagement, Koo defines two subcategories of commuter students: walking commuters and driving commuters. However, regardless of how commuter students are defined, they are different from residential students in that, for them, home and campus are not synonymous. Although the location of a student's home is important in defining a commuter student, it is not the only characteristic of this population. Commuter students include full-time students of traditional age who live with their parents, part-time students who live in rental housing near the campus, adults with full-time careers, and parents whose lives intersect with one or more of the previous characteristics. In other terms, commuter students can be defined in multiple ways. They can be traditional or non-traditional age, single or married, full or part-time attendance, walking or driving, and live less than a minute to an hour away from campus. Next, we are going to look at why it is important to study the commuter student population. Commuter students attend nearly every institution of higher education. These students may represent a small percentage of students at a private residential liberal arts college or the entire population of a community college or urban institution. More than 40% of all undergraduates are 24 years or older, and virtually all of these students are commuters. Barbara Jacoby, writer of Engaging Commuter and Part-Time Students, and editor of Involving Commuter Students in Learning, has spent over 30 years researching and writing about the commuter population. She proposes that the number of commuter students will continue to increase and become more diverse as the numbers of part-time and adult students continue gaining access to higher education. She states that approximately 85% of today's college students live off-campus, yet little is known about their engagement patterns and college experiences. It has been suggested that the unique needs of commuter students have been neither adequately understood nor appropriately incorporated into policies, programs, and practices. In seeking to further understand commuter student subculture, I interviewed Justin, the Messiah Commuter Student Liaison, as well as John, a fellow commuter student at Messiah. In addition, I attended a commuter cookout and a commuter brunch provided in the commuter lounge to informally observe the group's interactions. Through my observations and interviews, I've noticed a couple of themes. First, these students face the challenge of making relationships on campus, and second, commuter students struggle with establishing a sense of belonging. Both students noted the difficulty of connecting to fellow students on campus. For most commuter students, being a student is only one of several important and time-consuming roles. Many commuter students work to help offset the high cost of college tuition, while others have responsibilities for managing households, including children, siblings, and relatives. Since commuter students often do not have a lot of free time to hang out on campus, they often lack a sense of belonging to the institution. Both Justin and John admitted to this. However, John did not seem quite as concerned about it as Justin. Justin appreciates the fact that Messiah provides the basic facilities like a kitchen and lockers in the lounge, but these items only seem to create a physical connection to campus rather than a sense of belonging. He would appreciate more opportunities to connect with fellow students both in the academic and co-curricular setting. Unfortunately, though, in many cases there are inadequate opportunities for community students to develop relationships with faculty, staff, and peers. I would conclude that Justin's need for more interactions at Messiah comes from the fact that individuals rarely feel connected to a place where they have no significant relationships. There are several theories that have direct application to commuter student success. A good one to begin with is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Because of commuter students' various life situations, Commuter and part-time students are often preoccupied with satisfying the most fundamental needs. As a result of this, it is essential for institutions to provide services to help meet students' basic needs for housing, transportation, food, security, healthcare, and childcare. Fortunately, Messiah does a pretty sufficient job of providing food, security, and healthcare to the commuter population. The next level of Maslow's hierarchy of needs is the need to feel a sense of membership in and acceptance by the campus community, which is something unfortunately Messiah has not yet achieved. The concept of mattering is related to the need for belonging and esteem described by Maslow. Nancy Schallenberg's concept of marginality and mattering is an important theory for this population of students. According to Evans, et al., marginality can be defined as a sense of not fitting in and can lead to self-consciousness, irritability, and depression. Since building relationships with peers has been identified as a challenge for commuter students, this concept clearly applies. Barbara Jacoby replies that commuter and part-time students have been and have felt marginal in colleges since first participating in higher education. Justin and John both admitted in their interviews that they had less than 5 immediate friends on campus. For Justin, he attributes this to the fact that he is hardly on campus. He stated that, "I find myself only on campus for class and work. Each semester I intentionally stack my classes so that I do not have breaks in between them. When I have breaks in my day, I often do not know where to go. It's not like I have friends on campus that I can just go hang out with. The only people I interact with on a normal basis are the students in my major and maybe a fellow commuter student." John had a similar answer. He said that he does have 1 or 2 relationships on campus with people he works with. However, he spends more time with his friends from home than trying to create new friendships on campus. John mentioned that he did try to make friends on campus his first year, but it didn't work out as planned. He states, "I would only be on campus during the day, so even if I would pay the ridiculous price for lunch and eat in Lottie with them, I would still miss out on all the inside jokes and fun activities that went along with just living in a dorm." The second theory that applies to the commuter population is Schallenberg's transition theory. This theory is typically categorized as a theory of adult development. College students, whether traditionally or non-traditionally aged, face many changes that can have short and long-term effect on their lives. Nancy Schallenberg's transition theory provides insight into factors related to the transition, the individual, and the environment that are likely to determine the degree of impact a given transition will have at a particular time. Many students returning to school after a break in their education do so because some sort of transition in their life. Such transitions include employed or unemployed individuals trying to keep up with an increasingly competitive job market, homemakers whose children have grown up, or spouses and parents who suddenly find themselves single parents. Regardless of whether students realize that they are in transitions that are both events and non-events are challenging. Schallenberg stresses that colleges need to recognize these transitions and provide appropriate support, especially for the commuter student population. More and more institutions are recognizing the changing demographics of college students and the unique needs of the growing numbers of commuter students. However, the next steps are for colleges and universities to actually begin better serving the distinct population. Barbara Jacoby declares, "The enduring challenge is to create opportunities that involve commuter students explicitly and intentionally in learning that enhances their college experience, rather than allowing these opportunities to become yet one more example of the unintentional exclusions from which commuter students have historically suffered." It is clear from both the research and the interviews that I conducted that commuter students face unique challenges related to belonging to the college and building relationships with peers and all members of an institution. By understanding the subculture of commuter students, colleges and universities can do a better job at supporting their population and providing services that are distinctive to their unique needs. 2 theories that help educators understand the commuter students are Schallenberg's concept of marginality and mattering, and Schallenberg's transition theory. After understanding these theories and how they apply to the commuter population, higher education practitioners will be able to begin forming appropriate programming to help students' moral development. This final slide concludes my presentation on the commuter student population. As you can see, I have listed all the references I used in my paper and presentation. If you haven't already read it, I highly recommend Student Engagement in Higher Education by Stephen John Quay and Sean R. Harper. This is a great resource as we begin our higher education careers. Thank you for your time, and I hope you have a great holiday season.